Greetings, candidates, and welcome to the learning session. The subject is leadership and management. We have been studying the topic project management. So far, we've done the first subtopic, which is project management concepts, topic number 2, characteristics of a project, subtopic number 3, importance of projects, subtopic number 4, features of projects and baseline surveys. Subtopic 5, illustration of the project life cycle. Number 6, project planning and organizing. Number 7, project resources and costing. We've so far covered those 7 subtopics. In our today's session, we are moving to cover the last subtopic, which is project completion and evaluation. Project completion and evaluation. Candidates, you will recall in the when we are covering the subtopic on illustration of the project life cycle, we stated that there are 4 phases in the project life cycle. 4 phases, beginning with the initiation, then we moved to planning and organizing phase, there is the execution phase, and we say that execution is done concurrently with the monitoring and evaluation. Then lastly, project closure or project completion. Project closure. So this is the project life cycle. Just like animals and plants, projects have a life cycle. There is the initiation. This is the starting of the project. Initiation, the beginning or the start of the project. There is a organizing and planning. This is the preparation of the project. Preparing. Then after preparing through planning and organizing, the project is executed. And when executing the project, monitoring and evaluation is done simultaneously. Then there is a closure. This is the completion or ending of the project. The subtopics I mentioned when beginning this lesson, we've done all these areas, candidates. This is a cycle. Now we are at project completion. All right? The project completion. So the project implementation cycle is treated as complete with the termination of the project. This is the termination of the project. And when studying the features of project, we say that projects have timelines. A project has the starting time and the ending time. The starting time is project has to indicate when the project is to start. But we also say that ending, it may not be possible to have a date to the ending of a project because of the complexities of projects. All right? So the project implementation cycle is treated as complete when the project is terminated. And termination or completion literally means ending. And in the context of project implementation, it spells out around 4 or 3 things. Number one, normal completion or termination. Normal completion. Normal completion. That is when a project is terminated within the stipulated resources and time. We may also have early termination of projects. Early termination of project and late termination of project. Late termination of a project. So the normal completion or termination, candidates, this is when a project is terminated within the stipulated resources and time. All right? But projects can also be terminated early. Projects can be terminated earlier negatively due to change of policy, change of programs, the availability of more proposals. They can also be terminated earlier because of unforeseen circumstances and also environmental factors. So a project can be terminated earlier. That could be maybe terminated prematurely, or another proposal has been brought forth, bringing the project to an end so that another project can begin, and so on. But as regards late termination, it's generally the case on account of time and cost overruns. Time and cost overruns. Time and cost overruns. A project can be terminated late due to cost overruns. That means that the company may not have sufficient resources to complete the project in time. Other reasons could be poor planning, where there is poor planning on, say, for example, on procurement of materials. Poor planning. Because we said when discussing resourcing and costing, that's important that the company plans on when, where, and how to obtain the resources that are required to complete a project. So where there is poor planning, where that means that maybe the company has not determined where to get the resources and on what time the resources are to arrive. For example, if a company is to import resources and the importation is or placing orders for resources is done late, then that can delay some performance of certain tasks within the project. That will lead to late termination of a project. This is where the project is delayed. Okay, late termination. All right, as regards to late termination of the project is generally the case on account of time or cost overrun. So candidates, that is termination. But that's not the end of a project. There is this bit here we are calling evaluation. 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 All right? Evaluation. The final step of any project should be an evaluation review. Evaluation review should be the last step. Evaluation review, the final step of any project should be an evaluation review. This is just a look back over the project to see what contributed to the success of the project or what contributed to the failure of the project, and so on. The review is best done by the core project team and also the project manager. All right, review. It's important to review upon completion, but we know candidates review can also be done continuously throughout the project. So in the project completion and evaluation process, candidates, the project manager and the business owner or the sponsor of the project, they pull together the team and those who have an interest in the outcome of the project. These are just the stakeholders. And the purpose is to analyze the final outcome of the project. And closing would include formal acceptance of the project. Okay? Formal acceptance of the project would include formal acceptance of the project, formal acceptance of the project, and also the ending thereof. And there are certain administrative activities that take place at this stage. Administrative activities that should take place at this stage, which include archiving the documents or the files of the project, archiving the files and documenting land lessons. Documenting the lessons that are learned. Okay? Documenting learned lessons. Because remember we say that there has to be an evaluation review. The purpose for an evaluation review is not to punish the implementers of the project, but is used as a learning process so that what is learned in this project can be used in the subsequent projects. All right? Because a project can either succeed or fail. Where there is failure, you don't punish, but you use it as a lesson so that the mistakes that are made in this project are not repeated in the next project. So these are administrative activities that take place at the closure of the project. Archiving the files and documenting the learned lessons. And candidates, before closing the project, the project manager must ensure that all the activities across all the process groups are finalized. That is, candidates, finalizing all activities across all of the process groups to formally close the project or the project phase, project completion phase. So we all know, candidates, that when implementing a project, there are many activities that take place. We had said earlier that there are activities that must begin before others start. There are certain activities that run concurrently. There are, and when completing a project or bringing a project to a closure, then the project manager must ensure that all activities are finalized before closing the project. All right? The project manager must also ensure that there is also contract closure. Contract closure. That means that completing and settling each contract, including the resolution of any open items, and also closing each contract applicable to the project. So if there is any contract between the company or the project firm and say suppliers of materials or any procurement of services, then such contracts must be brought to closure before the project is completed. So candidates successful project management requires a keen understanding also of the inner linkages or the interlinkages between the various phases of the project. And any success or failure at any phase of the project is usually cascaded down the remaining phases. In addition, a proper monitoring and evaluation system is critical to maintaining the project on track and also bringing the project to an end. Because we've said that evaluation can be an ongoing process. Evaluation is done throughout the process. Evaluation is also done at closure of a project. At the end of the project, there has to be evaluation to ensure to determine whether the results that were intended at the beginning of the project have been met or not. So that is project completion and evaluation. All right? Completion and evaluation. We've said that project evaluation is a process which supports a project by measuring the extent to which the objectives are met, by identifying achievements, identifying areas for improvement, and also encourages decisions to be taken, including changes to objectives and the project methodology, and that will happen if there is any other project to be undertaken after the project at hand is complete. Okay? So that's all we can say for now in regard to project completion and evaluation. We've done the general, we've given some brief or an adumbration of project completion and evaluation. We've said that project completion and evaluation is the last phase in the project life cycle, which begins at the project initiation. There is project planning and project organizing. Then there is project execution, project monitoring, and project evaluation. Then lastly, project termination. And that will bring this lesson to a close. Thank you for attending our today's session. I hope to meet you in our next session where we continue to share knowledge in project management. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.